Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Social Walking in Wisdom, where we provide character analysis based on the depth of characters portrayed in Nollywood movies. I am a huge, avid Nollywood fan, and throughout the diaspora, wherever I go, I hear many of the fans talk about the content and the storylines and the faith based of the characters behind almost every story. And as a result, I felt it was important as a leadership coach and a fan, it makes sense to view films and based on the portrayal of the characters and the storyline, really paint a picture in terms of the character of each actor within that storyline and use really leadership coaching tidbits as well as advice. My practice also integrates biblical principles. So as a result, we use biblical precepts because most of these stories have really a faith-based message as well. And to being able to connect to the faith-based community is a passion of mine as well. It's important to note who our source is from the Most High, the Creator of heaven and earth. And it's important to note that when we make decisions, there's a driving force. And the question is, who is driving that message? And that also stems from whether you're able to exercise and produce fruit of the spirit, which is really about good character, according to Galatians 5:22 and 23, or really poor character, and you really operate in a selfish manner. So we're going to get into today. Our storyline is coming from no other than Uche Nancy's My Fighters that came out a couple of weeks ago. First of all, kudos to the young actors whom I love and the beautiful Sarah James right here. I absolutely love this young lady. Very promising future, exceptional acting skills. And then we have the love of my life, Brother Chikamso Ijofo. I love him. Love the cheeks as well. Absolutely. And of course, we know the storyline was led by no other than phenomenal Soso herself, Queen Soso, Sonia Uche, and the phenomenal Brother Stephen Odembege. We also have the beautiful Angel Ufuma, and we cannot forget the Elder Chikosi Nwowe. This was indeed a beautiful storyline, and really the goal behind this platform, if you desire to build your character, no one is perfect. So if you desire to build your character and you're a Nollywood fan, it makes sense by listening and viewing the movies and coming back, checking out this channel. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, we ask you kindly to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. If you have not subscribed to Sonia Uche's channel on Instagram, we encourage you to go ahead and do so as well. If you have not subscribed to her channel on YouTube, we encourage you to do as well as, last but not least, Uche Nancy television. If you have not subscribed to Uche Nancy Television or Uche Nancy, I believe, Update, please be sure to go ahead and subscribe. It takes a village not only to raise a child, but a village to render such beautiful movies. And again, kudos to the wonderful actors, the way they portray and interpret the characters with such depth and carrying the culture, the Nigerian culture, whether it's the village to the city, it resonates with so many people globally. Hence the reason I love Nollywood movies. And you could disagree with me, but I will disagree with you right back. Now let's get on to the analysis of this wonderful movie. And really, it lends to when we speak about love, you have romantic love between a spouse and between spouses, husband and wives, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiancés, and then you have the relationship and love between parent and child. You have relationship and love between siblings, as we see in this movie. And then the love and the connection created between the younger siblings of the character played by Stephen Odembege and, of course, Sonia Uche's character, Amaka. So it's so very important to understand again, this particular storyline, you have about 4 to 5, I would even say 6 characters. They all brought their characters to light because you were really rooting. And for me, it was for the young in-laws because they only knew the character and the member of Amaka who the brother, I guess in their eyes, brought home, so that might have been the love of his life in their eyes. However, when this character returned from overseas and they met, they both had two different interpretation of what he said he was going to do. In the character and the eyes of Amaka Sonia Uchi's character, her understanding was completely different. So she was waiting, quote unquote, for him to return. And in her mind, she was a wife, fiance, and she had an air about her in the village. So much so, um, the the young girls in the village, her friends, thought she changed because she was walking around already as a wife and a fiance. On the other hand, Stephen Digby's character arrived not only with bad news, but with another woman as his fiance, and that confused everyone. The elder did his part. He was wise just to hear what the son has to say, respect what the son had to say, and most importantly, regardless of what he thought, he respected the young lady played by Angel Euphoma. He respected her and made sure she felt welcome in her home. On the other hand, the potential in-laws played by my love Sarah James and Chikamso Ijofa, they had other plans and they planned to fight, hence the reason my fighters, for the in-law they knew. And unfortunately, when we speak about character and you really, unfortunately, manipulate the minds of our youth, that is poor character. That's lacking integrity. Because for the most part, we know our youth, the minds of our youth have not been fully developed. And yet they can be easily manipulated for the most part. So she did so whether intentionally or not, but she was always good to them. She loved them. I believe that was sincere. But another way to ensure, to seal the deal, to close in that door, was to always give them treats. And yet she did. So that was certainly one way they were fighting for Sonia Uchi's character to be the in-law and not the new person that the brother, respect for the elder brother, they were really fighting for the character of Amaka to be the sister-in-law. So let's dissect it further. That was really the goal and the core of the story, the meat of the story. And this story lends to, it really gives a wealth of insight into human behavior. Again, different dynamics, looking at love, sibling love. Then you have the romance going on. Then you have the respect of different generations indeed. So it's important to communicate. Clearly, there was a communication challenge between Sonia Uchi's character, Amaka, and the one played by Stephen Odebge. And when it comes to long distance relationships, it's important to clearly define the guidelines, the goals, the expectations. Okay, I'm going to school for 4 years. I will call you once a day or 3 times a day or twice a day. May not be weekends. And the goals might change, but you have to communicate the change or else you are in default and you're losing or you're displaying poor character. And similar to chances where this person was pursuing his ambition, his personal ambition, and there was conflict of either staying or going away so you can build a future for his family. And he also went away, except in this case, he came back with someone special, which was Sonia's character from Chance's deepest fear. So it's important to really communicate and be very transparent if in a long-term relationship, and really have the courage to say what you mean and mean what you say, and allow your yay to be a yay and your nay to be a nay. We covered that in the last episode. If you did not see it, be sure to do the review for Chances, Character Analysis, as well as For Better or For Bitter by Uche Bumbano Television. It also comes down to a conflict in terms of, again, the understanding that this young adult had in his mind when he departed for his personal pursuits, and what his siblings witness, right? If someone comes to your home and comes to you, or you would bring someone to your home, someone with a young mind equates that to love, a future relationship, etc. So in their mind, this was the sister-in-law he was coming back to. And though in the movie, it clearly showed that he kept in touch with his core family, right, including his siblings and his father, but he was losing contact with what Amaka complained about, was the calls became less and less. So when you consider the concept of Amaka's character, understanding she's loved by the siblings, but taking advantage of that love, she concocted a scheme with them to drive this person out, her competition out from the household. And she used the 2v1s to do so. That's having poor character, lack of integrity. You do not manipulate the minds of our youth. Doing so really use putting a stumbling block, setting them up for failure. Because if they practice to deceive, well, in the long term, as they become adults, they will continue to deceive in many different ways, and ways that can allow them to be in prison or to make a poor judgment that can cause harm to someone physically and emotionally as well. So don't do it. Don't show poor judgment, bad character by manipulating and resorting to manipulation when it comes to the younger ones, regardless of the challenges that you're facing. It's also very important to understand wisdom, and wisdom could come in all ages and sizes and genders. In this case, we saw the wisdom of a father. He is a widow, and he is the father to the two young ones, as well as the older brother. And then you have the elder, played by Sonia Uche's Sonia Uche's character, my apology. Her mom gave her poor advice, versus Stephen character's father gave him little advice or no advice. He just respected his grown son's opinion. And rightfully so. Sometimes the best advice, pending the age of the person you're conveying your thoughts to, if not asked, sometimes the best advice is no advice, or just showing support. And that's what his father did. So kudos for him as an elder, showing wisdom. He accommodated the young lady and made her feel very welcome, and acted like the adult in this entire movie, as he is the elder in this entire movie. Sonia Uche's mother's character encouraged her to use her youth and her feminine wise for money. And while this may be used in many cultures and countries, using your child for financial gains, I would say it's displaying poor character. Regardless, there are many ways to make money, and sometimes we may need the money faster. But again, turning to your child, regardless of the age, should be not on the table, should not be on the table. It should not be an option, right? As I respectfully stated, it should not be an option, right? And I've seen that in many Nollywood movies, based on the class system and how to make their way out of poverty. But I know that it's not solely in Nigeria this happens. So overall, as the global diaspora, parents, do not use your kids as a money-making machine. Do not do it. When they become adults, they're going to resent you for it, and they would likely model that behavior for their own child. Someone has to cut that. Someone has to break that generational curse indeed. So don't do it. But overall tips in this movie is to consider effective communication, ensure that you do not manipulate the minds of the youth. Again, let your yea be a yea and your nay be a nay. And also with the youth, they certainly loved their in-law. And though they were doing it from a great place, it was not fair to their guests. So in Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Now, from the father's perspective as a widow, in terms of disciplining, throughout the movie, you can see the father disciplining, chastising his two young children. So that's being done. And of course, as tweens or as teenagers, they're going to make mistakes. And these are the mistakes that he did not condone. So I think if you look at it from the parental perspective and training up a child, he did exactly that as a father. Now, in terms of a woman, whether it's coming from Akama's mother or Amaka's mother or Amaka herself, played by Sonia Uche, now we have to think about what is a virtuous woman. And Proverbs 31:10 says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far from rubies, far above rubies. And this is characterized by strength, honor, wisdom, and kindness indeed. And when we talk about a virtuous woman, she really embodies strength and resilience. And regardless of the obstacles and the challenges in life, if you operate in wisdom and incline your ear to wisdom, according to Proverbs 2:2, you indeed will be able to level up, unlock, or unleash your potential and continue to move forward. According to Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. And when they go lower, we go higher. The goal is to soar like an eagle. And ultimately, again, Proverbs 31:10, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. So it's safe to say a virtuous woman is indeed priceless. And as adults, we should be rearing virtuous women indeed. Before I conclude, I definitely want to add the character of the young lady played by Angel Afuma. And the reason for that is that she was raised based on the portrayal of her character in the West, and coming into the East as an adult, she found it hard. She tried, but there's still some challenges that she needed to overcome, right? And the way to overcome challenges is by doing it yourself, to see whether you like it or not, and then be honest. Is this someone I care about? Is this a place I could live in? Can I survive? So it was so very important that her character really become more ingrained in that society by doing the chores herself, fetching her water if she needed to, and going through the hurdles in a way head on to make a determination whether she's cut off for more country living, a more not necessarily impoverished, because her future husband would have been doing well, but to understand whether you are prepared to do so in the event, because life also happens. So she had some challenges. What happened at the end? I'm not going to say, because you need to watch this phenomenal cast in My Fighters. Absolutely. It was a very well executed movie, great storyline, and I love the various versions of love. It doesn't always have to be man meet boy, meet girl, and fall in love. It could be so many different variations of love. And as a whole, certainly we can take some excellent tips, including cultivating a level of critical thinking in our own minds, understand the importance of productivity and that loyalty, especially from a very young age. Um, and at times we have to respectfully agree to disagree, right? So that's an important point, but do it in a respectful way and do it in a way that is transparent, especially if it's a long distance relationship, that everyone knows what is to be expected. This movie, My Fighters, powerfully illustrates, I would say, leadership that extends beyond just the boardroom or any formal titles. It's every individual's daily choice. And that's why in my coaching practice, we focus on self leadership, making right choices, therefore leading your feet towards righteousness and not mischief. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect. No one in Nollywood is perfect. But getting up every day to make right choices, and even when you fall down, get back up again. Dust yourself off. Offer an apology and continue to move forward. Family, that completes this episode character analysis on this wonderful movie. Very funny indeed as well. Great dynamic duo between Sarah James and Shikamso Ejiofor as well. Very, very funny dynamic duo. I love it. Please be sure to watch it. Please be sure to leave your comments and be sure to subscribe. Give a thumbs up to all the movies, all your favorite actors, wherever they are. Go support and assist them in continuing making and producing some powerful movies. Until the next time, take care of yourself and each other. Shalom.